Hello and welcome to Cavs Daily, your one-stop shop for everything Cavs related. I'm your host, Paul Williams. Appreciate you guys being here with me today as we dig into what the Cavs have been up to lately and what the Cavs and us Cavs fans have to look forward to. If you could, before we get started, like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And with that out the way, let's get to the first topic of the day, which is the Cavs' up and down play, which has pretty much been the case all season and stayed the same during their latest homestand and continuing into their most recent game against the Toronto Raptors. Over those past 7 games, I guess we'll really look into. The Cavs have shown a lot of good things, but they've also had some games where they just didn't really have it. Specifically, seems like every time they play the Raptors just have our number, and they are a good team. So it doesn't shock me that they can play with us or beat us, but they are now 3-0 versus us after beating us twice in a 10-day span. The Raptors started off the Cavs 6-game homestand by beating us 126-113 a week ago on Thursday. The Cavs had some chances in that game to get back in it, but never were really able to. They were led by Donovan Mitchell's 31 points. The Cavs then rebounded in their next game when they took on the Memphis Grizzlies. Even though it took a little time, they trailed for most of the game by double digits. They trailed at halftime by double digits, and ultimately they were able to come back and win in the fourth quarter thanks to a lot of Donovan magic and Evan Mobley stepping up at a few crucial times, especially in the fourth quarter, going on a little offensive takeover of his own and then making some huge plays on defense. That was one of his best games of the season to me, doing it on both ends. And that led to the Cavs doing the same thing a couple nights later when they hosted the Bucks, as the Cavs once again won by 8, beating the Bucks 118. The Cavs won this game by 12, beat the Grizzlies by 8. The Cavs won this one versus the Bucks 118-106. And that game was also closer than the score indicates. The Bucks had the lead in the first quarter. They led 30-16 and maintained the lead into the second quarter. The Cavs did obviously ultimately win the game, but the Bucks had their chances, and that was with Giannis only playing 13 minutes. The Bucks had it within single digits a couple times in the fourth, but Donovan Mitchell dropping 37, Sam Merrill chipping in 20, including onslaught of three-pointers in the fourth quarter. Got it done for the Cavs. So they rebounded after opening their homestand with a loss to the Raptors by sweeping that weekend, beating the Grizzlies and Bucks. But then the Cavs were brought down a notch once again as they ran into the Houston Rockets, and the Rockets won 114-104 in a game that, it was competitive. Again, the Cavs had their chances, but Houston also had the lead the entire game, and outside of the fourth quarter, never were really in any danger of losing their lead. The Cavs did make a big push in the fourth quarter as Donovan scored, I believe, 19 fourth quarter points. He was honestly getting locked down by Thompson most of that game, but he did go off in the fourth quarter where the Cavs were able to cut it to 178-77, but that was the closest they would get, and the Rockets ultimately took home the victory. Then the Cavs followed that up by a pair of weekend games to wrap up the homestand, first hosting the Indiana Pacers on Friday night, where the Cavs let the Pacers hang around a bit, but the Pacers, being one of the worst teams in the league with only 2 wins, just could not really provide much of a challenge to the Cavs. And in the end, the Cavs did win 120-109. Once again, Donovan Mitchell led the way with 32 points, but this one, the stat sheet was beautiful as 4 guys scored at least 20 points, led by Donovan's 32 points. Darius Garland had 20 points to go with 7 assists. Evan Mobley had 22 points to go with 12 rebounds. And DeAndre Hunter had 20 points to go with 7 rebounds. Even Jalen Tyson had 14 points, shooting 2 for 3 from the three-point line to go with 8 rebounds. So just an all-around good game from the Cavs. We saw some good things from the bench as well. Dean Wade played well off the bench. Larry Nance looked better over the weekend in general, regained some playing time due to injury as Jared Allen was out in that game. So just overall good game for the Cavs and a win they needed after the Rockets loss. Then the Cavs wrapped up the homestand on Sunday against the LA Clippers, where the Cavs once again got the victory after letting the Clippers hang around for most of the first half. James Harden was playing well for them, and they stayed within, it was about a 6-7 point game for most of the first half. Cavs did pull away in the second half. Donovan Mitchell with, let me know if you've heard this before, another 30 ball, this time leading the way with 37 points. Evan Mobley was next in line with 18 points and 10 rebounds. Then came last night where the Cavs fell to the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. The Cavs were very, very short-handed, missing numerous key players like Darius Garland, who was out for rest. DeAndre Hunter was out. Sam Merrill was out. Craig Porter was out. Dean Wade was out. And of course, Max Strus was out. So the Cavs were very short-handed, but in the end, they did lose to the Raptors 110 to 99 in a game where it was the worst offensive game of the year for the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell led the way with just 17 points, and it was one to forget. The Cavs got a scrappy effort from some guys you won't see play very much for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, like Luke Travers and Chris Livingston. Thomas Bryant got some burn too, so did Tyrese Proctor, but no one really shot well. Evan Mobley only took 7 shots in a game with all those guys missing, which was kind of puzzling, but yeah, just kind of wraps up what has been a bit of a roller coaster start to the season, and that stayed the same over that chunk of games, and that's just where the Cavs are at, and I think it's going to be this way for at least another month or two, especially as we get Strus back into the lineup and some of the guys that are in and out right now start to play more consistently. I do think the Cavs will be fine, but yeah, the up and down of the 25-26 Cavaliers season continues as we are now closing out November, getting into December, which is crazy to think about, but also is exciting to think about and is a great time to check in just for the temperature of our Cleveland Cavaliers. Where are we at right now in the standing as a team, just in the vibes department? What do the Cavs look like? Right now, the Cavs are 12-7 after the loss to the Raptors. Like I said, they did have a 4-2 homestand. That was pretty positive. But overall, it seems like they just can't stack up wins right now the way they were able to last season. The Cavs are 8-3 at home, which is solid. But also, the Cavs always are dominant at home, and 8-3, honestly, isn't that great of a record through 11 games. The Cavs are scoring just under 119 points per game at 118.8. Again, not the offense that we had last season, which was the best in the league and one of the best ever. The Cavs are giving up only 114.8 points per game. So they have a solid 4-point differential. They're in 4th place right now in the Eastern Conference. And really, outside of the Pistons, they're a win or two away from being right back in second where they've been most of the season. I mean, the Cavs really stand right now where they have all season. I do think, I take that back. They're in a better spot. They have now at least had some real time on the court together for most of the guys anyways. They've got to try out different things and really start to mesh and learn each other's games and learn lineups that we may not have been looking at early in the preseason or when the Cavs made the moves that they made during the offseason. May not thought of some of the lineups we've been seeing, as Kenny Atkinson has been very liberal and very open to trying different things. I think the best thing so far that we've seen, and the biggest positive where we stand right now as a Cleveland Cavalier fan base and organization, is the development of some of these young guys. I mean, Craig Porter is looking really, really good. He's looking like he's an NBA player that can at the very least be a serious contributor to a championship team. Every time he gets an opportunity, he makes something of it. He does it on both ends of the court, which is very, very important for a guy that isn't going to be a superstar but can have a role in the NBA. He's shooting 44% from three right now, 53% from the field overall, and he's been great, and I'm excited to see if he can continue to develop, if he'll get that time as we get Darius Garland back playing his full workload and Lonzo playing in most games. Where's Porter going to fit? That's still a question to be answered, but it's good to see where he's at right now. Same with Naquan Tomlin, who has came on in the last few weeks after not getting much playing time. Well, really no playing time to open the season. Tomlin's even started a game. He dropped 10 in the game he started, and he has just made his value fell in hustle, rebounding, being in the right place at the right time, and just bringing an energy that is tangible but can't be like quantified. You can't put it on a stat sheet, but it is there, and he does change the game with that energy. So he's another bright spot to me. And then Jalen Tyson has just been awesome. He's been, I think, everything we could have hoped for even when we were hearing the hype during the offseason, and as it continued to grow into the preseason. Still, we have to be happy what we're getting out of him in 26 minutes per game, per game. He's averaging 11 points, just under 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. He's also playing very good defense, usually guarding one of the best, if not the best, perimeter players from the other team. He's also shooting great percentages and being very efficient on the court, playing with a lot of scorers and a lot of guys that can get their own buckets. He's shooting 52.7% from the field and 47.5% from the three-point line. So just another huge bright spot for the Cavaliers this season. He started 10 of the 14 games he's played and missed a few games due to a concussion. But besides that, he's been huge for us, as has Sam Merrill. I mean, we just have a lot of guys that are contributing right now at levels we probably didn't expect. You mix that with Donovan Mitchell playing like a true MVP. I mean, all we need is Evan Mobley to continue to get comfortable in who he is as a player and developing, and little health luck, and I think the Cavs are in a great position, and we're in a position to be very excited for the next 5 months of the regular season and then getting the playoffs popping. Now, before we get to the playoffs, we do have a thing called the NBA Cup. Still buying into it myself, but in the third year now, we are winding down the regular season group play for the NBA Cup. During that group play, only 4 teams from each conference will move on, depending on those records. Each team is in a group with 4 other teams, so groups of 5. They play each other once throughout the first month and a half of the season in these NBA Cup group games with those funky courts that I just can't get behind. I haven't seen one yet that I'm really okay with. I mean, I don't hate the Cavs color scheme and stuff. They do their best, but just with the design that you have to throw out for those games, it's a tough watch sometimes. Wonder what you guys think about it, but I'm not really feeling them. As far as where the Cavs stand right now in the group play, we are in Group A with the Raptors, the Washington Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Indiana Pacers. We are in second place right now at 2-1 with just one more game to go. The Cavs' only loss is to the Raptors, who have clinched Group A. So the Cavs' only path now to moving on in the NBA Cup to the next round and to have a chance to go to Vegas and possibly play for the Cup is if they get into the wild card spot for the Eastern Conference. To do that, they're going to need a little luck. The wild card is whichever team doesn't win their group but has the best record. First, it goes by record. Then, if the records are tied, it goes by point differential. Then, if that's still a tie, it goes by overall points scored. So, the Cavs do still have a real shot to get in. They play the Atlanta Hawks on Friday, which will be big because if the Cavs do win that and do win it by a wide margin, they'll be in a great spot to still make the NBA Cup tournament in Vegas. They will need a little help as the Detroit Pistons have only played 2 games, but they're 2-0 in Group B, and the Magic are 3-0 in Group B. So one of those teams will need to lose. The Cavs already have a better differential than the Pistons at plus 33, but the Magic are at plus 61. So it seems like the Magic, our best shot is them winning that group and Detroit losing a game and us having more points than them. But then in Group C, the Bucks are 2-0, and right behind them, the Miami Heat are 2-1, and the Heat's differential is 46. So the Cavs have a little bit to make up there if it does come down to the Heat and the Cavs. The game against the Hawks, I do think the Cavs can win by double digits, maybe pile on a little bit. And if the Heat either lose their final game or don't win by a wide margin, the Cavs could still sneak in. We are going to need some help, but there are some possibilities out there. So we might as well keep our eye on it for now. If the Cavs don't make it, are you guys going to be watching? Do you care? Let me know. And to wrap things up today, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the teams that the Cavs are behind right now in the standings, as there's really 3 teams in particular, which happen to be the 3 teams ahead of them, that have been playing very good basketball so far in the East, especially in the last few weeks. These teams, all of them are on winning streaks of at least 5 games, and that is the Heat, who have won 5 straight and now sit in 3rd place at 12-6. In 2nd place, the Toronto Raptors are now 13-5 on the season. They've won 8 straight, 9 of their last 10, and they're a team, honestly, that I was kind of worried about going into the season as a team that's getting slept on, but can be a real threat in the East. With the roster they have, it wasn't about do they have the talent, it was about can they mesh and play winning basketball. And right now, winners of 8 straight and being 3-0 already against the Cavs this season, I'll say the Raptors are legit and they are a top 5 team in the East. And while I think the Cavs would beat them in a playoff series, I do think they're one of the bigger threats to the Cavs as we now head into December and into, we're closing in on the first half of NBA basketball wrapping up here soon. So the Raptors, to me, are going to be a legit playoff team for the remainder of the season. As far as the Heat goes, I don't see it really. I mean, they have been playing well, and they now got Tyler Hero back, who debuted the other day. But I don't know. I feel like the Heat are still more of a play-in team, maybe a 6 seed that I wouldn't be too worried about in the playoffs. They have pretty much the same roster they had last season when the Cavs beat them by a historical margin in the playoff series against the Heat in the first round. And I don't think it'd be much different this season. I do think the Cavs would sweep them if we played them in the playoffs. Then the other team that's obviously the hottest team in the league right now, the Detroit Pistons, who have won 13 straight. And since the Cavs beat them down in Detroit the first week of the season, the Pistons, I mean, they've been obviously the best team in the East and arguably the best team in the league. I mean, the Thunder are also going kind of crazy at 17-1, and they've won 9 straight. But the Pistons, I mean, got to give it up to them. They've been very good so far. They've taken advantage of a very soft schedule so far, but you can't help who you play. You just have to play them, and you have to beat them. And yeah, the Pistons have been playing good. Do I believe in the Pistons? No, I don't. Honestly, I believe in Brandon Ingram and the Raptors more than I do the Pistons. As far as who I'd be more worried about in a playoff series, I do think the Pistons will probably have a better regular season record than the Raptors. But I think the Raptors with Ingram and Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly, I think they would beat the Pistons in a 7-game series. And I think if any of those 3 teams who are ahead of the Cavs right now are a team to worry about for the long term, I think it would be the Raptors personally. I know a lot of people are jumping on the Pistons bandwagon, but they're not contenders yet in my eyes, and I wouldn't be worried about them in a playoff series either. I think of these hot teams, I don't want to say they're frauds or anything like that, but Miami, not a contender at all. Pistons, maybe a second-round team this season. The Raptors, probably also a second-round team, but a team that I would want to face the least if I had my choice of those. With that, we're going to wrap it up today, guys. Went kind of long because I was out for a few days. Sorry about that, but I am back, and I'll be dropping, once again, daily bangers for you all. Appreciate you being here with me, and I will see you tomorrow.